Greetings, metal brethren, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews with me, George, for what are we on now? The fifth instalment of Bands You Need to Hear. So the whole idea here, as I've said before, is that these are recommendations from me to you of bands that if you're not familiar with already, then you need to check them out because they're worth your time, worth the ear damage. These guys go in places. So for this particular one, we are going to Sweden, a band from Stockholm who have only been around since about 2019. One album to their credit, but I think these guys are going places. These kids, practically, these youngsters who are shredding their way out of the snow. Eternal Evil. This is their debut album, which has quite a remarkable name. The Warrior Awakens, but it doesn't end there. Brings the Unholy Slaughter. We get the continuation of the title there on the back. Quite a mouthful. I mean, The Warrior Awakening, Bringing the Unholy Slaughter, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, no, but this album is a shredding masterpiece. It's a brilliant album. I'm a huge fan of, shall we say, the early era, the first four Kreator albums. I love Kreator, absolutely love Kreator, but I think the first four albums hold a bit of a special place in my heart as a Teutonic thrash fan, along with the early Destruction albums, or going to Brazil for the first few Sepultura albums. That kind of very nasty, raw thrash that's almost a little bit too heavy to just be outright thrash. Almost verging on death metal in places, early embryonic death metal, or even Blackened thrash. Is it the origins of that? What a lot of bands then went on to do later, or a whole new scene evolved out of with the sort of the blackened thrash metal scene. This is what this album sounds like. Very heavy, almost a little bit too heavy to be outright thrash, but you've got elements of black and death metal in there as well. And it absolutely just shreds the brain. It's so heavy, it's really good though. Absolutely stomping stuff. So, track list there. Just pick out a few highlights because, to be honest, there is a lot of consistency on this album in terms of the fact that it's thrashing throughout, no doubt. There's no ballads, there's no slow number, there's no doomy passage or anything like that. This is just thrashing madness. But there's also a sort of a black metal edge to it, or death metal edge. There's a heaviness there that separates it or puts it just a little bit too extreme to be outright thrash. It's certainly not going to sit all that comfortably alongside the likes of Metallica because it's not polished in that way. It's a little bit too raw, a bit too heavy. But there's some brilliant tracks there. Succubus, the opening track, absolute thrasher of a number. Bestial Fornication. That could have just rolled off a Destruction album from 1988 easily. Absolutely. Old school as hell. Terror of the Sphinx. Really great song. Really heavy. Very sort of blackened thrash. There's a few tracks on here that I would say are real standouts. And Minotaur of Evil is one for me. I really like that number. Satanic Forces as well, definitely. A little bit of a more obvious Kreator and Destruction sort of Teutonic sound vibe there. Eternal Evil, the title track. Witch's Spell. Really good numbers. Really, really, really heavy stuff actually. So if you like previously mentioned Kreator, Destruction, early Sepultura, this is not a band to be missed. And these guys are up and coming. They are practically kids. Fresh-faced and thrash in there. Heavy. They know how to play their instruments. You would not, listening to the album, you would not think that these guys were a new band starting out. You'd think these guys had been at it for a few years and had plenty of experience under their belts. But no, this is the debut and it thrashes hard. It's a fantastic album, really heavy, really good stuff. If you're a thrasher, if you're a fan of raw nastiness, think Morbid Visions, the Celtic Frost album. Absolutely. It's got that rawness, that blackness to it. Venom. Any of these bands, that sort of raw, unfiltered, thrashing heaviness that's just a little bit too uncomfortable to sit in any pigeonhole. It kind of takes elements from every different little avenue of extremity. This is one of those albums. Very difficult to define, but the core of it, the backbone, is thrash. Check it out. Absolutely, those riffs are all over the place. Great vocals, drums, heavy and pounding. Really good stuff. Eternal Evil from Sweden, a band you need to hear. If you like the band, absolutely think you will, 100%, they're a great band. If you like the band, you like the recommendation, a like and subscribe would of course be very much appreciated. Check back soon, my friends, for more recommendations and reviews. Take care and stay heavy.